Yeah, so I'm falling deeper and deeper in love with this book called No Rules Rules. Oh, sorry, rubbing that against the mic. No Rules Rules by Reed Hastings and Aaron Meyer. Now, Reed Hastings, CEO of Netflix over Ted Sarandos, and I think Ted Sarandos is a descendant of Eddie Bernays, who is basically like the father of modern marketing. And not Reed Hastings though. And right now, I'm falling in love with this book more and more because it's basically about running a creative company with more freedom and responsibility. And it's essentially about taking out centralization and everything needing to be approved by a centralized boss or supervisor, and really delegating a lot of the responsibility and decision making to those that are directly involved with the projects that they are heading. So he calls them, I think the captain, the informed captain is the decision maker, not the boss. So the informed captain is someone who's in charge of the project. And instead of having to stop everything, put everything on halt, and then have to defer to a supervisor who has not been dealing with the project directly, essentially they make the decisions themselves. And we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars worth of decisions. So in this current chapter, chapter 9, I hope you can see it, says lead with context, not control. And essentially what that means is um, to, instead of trying to micromanage uh, the people that you're around and making sure they do things right, you want to inform them with the right context. For example, the book gives the example of, let's say you have a teenager that wants to go out and party, and you don't want them to drink alcohol or get into cars with people who are driving under the influence. Um, one approach is to tell them, no, don't do that, and then set all these confines and restrictions, and make sure they tell you where they're going, and make sure they tell you when they're going to get back, and make sure they have their phone on them that has a tracking device on them, so you know that they actually are where they said they're going to be. And that's control. And the other approach is to simply educate your offspring about the dangers of alcohol and alcoholism and overconsumption, overproduction, what it feels like to be drunk, what it feels like to be drunk at different levels, and how that impairs not only judgment but motor functions. And once you thoroughly educate your child on that, uh, then you might feel a little bit more confident in just letting them go without having to overtly control. However, there are some measures in in leading with context. First off, when you lead with context, you need to have, I in terms of business, you need to have high talent density. In business, that means you need very, very talented, very creative people, very individually creative people that can make decisions on their own and actually thrive on freedom. And but also, you need to have, your goal needs to be innovation, not error prevention. And with error prevention, that needs to be in industries such as safety industries, where where they're dealing with, you know, building buildings or construction, or things of that nature, where safety is an absolute priority. So error prevention is the priority of corporations like that, and therefore leading with control is absolutely the best way to do it. But going back to the example of the teenager that wants to party, if you have a teenager that that you feel like has good judgment, has a good head on their shoulders, and you're looking at them, it's like, it seems like when they navigate life, they're able to navigate life pretty well. When I tell them what to do and I give them the right context, they seem to be leading their lives with the proper context. So you would lead with context with them. But if they struggle with understanding, consequences, and, with the softer, mode of leading with context, I gotta stop saying, then you might want to lead with more control. And also, in terms of a corporation, you want to have high talent density. Your goal needs to be innovation. You need to be in what they call a loosely coupled system, meaning all of the departments and systems are not so intensely like integrated. You meaning if you do one thing here, it's not going to destroy the thing over here. They're a little bit more individualized, and so you can make a mistake without feeling like it's going to destroy this branch over here. Um, and then also you want to, once you have those elements in place, instead of telling people what to do, you want to get in lockstep alignment, meaning you all want the same North Star. Now that goes without saying. You all want to be headed toward the same thing, but you want that to be explicitly communicated. And then if one of your people does something dumb, then don't blame them. What you need to do is you need to look at yourself and say, what context did I fail to provide? How was I not articulate? How did I not make this clear? Are you articulate and inspiring enough in expressing your goals and strategy? Have you clearly explained all the assumptions and risks that will help your team make good decisions? Are you and your employees or your supporters highly aligned on vision and objectives? Now, a loosely coupled organization should resemble a tree rather than a pyramid. The boss is at the roots, holding up the trunk of senior managers who support the outer branches where decisions are made. Now, you know you're successfully leading with context when your people are moving the team in the desired direction by using the information they've received from you and those around you to make great decisions themselves. And so this is freedom and responsibility. This is why I love this book, because it's not just going off the cuff, because obviously taking the approach of, the boss being more hands off can lead to a shit show. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that you understand exactly what creates the quality of environment that you want in order for, you know, your employees or your supporters or, you know, underlings, I hate to use that term, they can autonomously carry out the will of the company without you having to micromanage them and hover over them. And I think this is a genius book. It's amazing. And this is if this is how I would probably have a job right now if I felt like I was going to be met with these kinds of policies, because I'm a very creative person, and even though I may not know something up front, I'm a very creative person, I'm a very intelligent person, and I like to be effective in my work, and I like to be effective, and I like to contribute meaningful things to wherever I'm at. But most corporations lead by control, so there's no creativity. It's all about error prevention. And so it really, you know, constricts your creativity. You don't have fun there. The people there are willing to be led by control because they don't really give a shit about being creative, or that's not really their main, aim. So they just kind of give in to whatever the corporation wants. But if you're incredibly creative, it's something you'd rather be at a place like Netflix. Now, there in previous chapters, Netflix has said, we want top level performance, but that doesn't mean that one of the reasons why we have top level performance is so we don't have to be looking after you, we don't have to babysit you, and in not so many in fewer words. So this book is amazing. It's beautiful. I think this is how a lot of companies that are not in error prevention industries are going to start running. And I think that it's just going to exponentially expand over the years. And it's going to be, I think, I have to say, I'm kind of optimistic about the future of businesses. And, and I think that people are going to be happy, more happy working. And yeah, this book is amazing. You should go get it.